The hardest promise to keep is one that you make with yourself.
Chad Peterman here, and you are listening to Can't Stop the Growth, a platform for leaders and teams to grow and thrive. We highlight the importance of personal development, pursuing greatness, and always chasing your potential. Let's get into it.
Excited to talk. We've got another commitment that we're going to talk about today, and this is really what I feel like is kind of the foundation of all of the commitments. If you don't have or are not willing to make this one, it's going to be very tough to commit to anything else that we've talked about or will talk about. And so the commitment that we're going to talk about is number 6, and that is practicing integrity. What we're going to do is actually dive into what is integrity. I think this is one of the things that I think about sometimes when I think about our core values here is, acting with integrity could be a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people. What does that actually look like? When we think about our core values, what does it look like to grow continuously or own results together? And I think that we're going to dive into the other side of integrity. When I was reviewing my notes this morning, it was one of those things where typically I feel like I've always associated integrity with, well, I'm a good person. I'm not out there committing crimes or doing anything like that. I try to be nice to people. And I would assume that the vast majority of you would feel the same way. Right? I've got integrity. I'm a good person. I try to do the right thing. And I think that what we're going to dive into is how much integrity do we have with ourselves? The hardest promise to keep is one that you make with yourself. Right? It's easy to make a promise to somebody else. It's the promises that we make to ourselves or need to make to ourselves that are so hard to keep. And so as we get started, what is integrity? And so the book defines integrity as alignment between what we think, feel, say, and do. So what do we think? So are there times when we think something about someone or something about some situation that is maybe inaccurate? Our feelings get in the way. What we're feeling does not align with what we say and what we do. We talked about 2 weeks ago, speaking candidly. Are there times when a situation arises and we don't speak candidly? We skirt around the situation. We don't come out and tell someone how we actually feel or how a situation made us feel. Integrity is about wholeness, nothing hidden, no part of ourselves denied. So think about that. Is there any part or something that you do or some manner in which you approach situations that is not in line with how you truly feel? What does that look like? Think about the relationships that you have. Think about your spouse or your kids or someone at work. Are those relationships fully open? Does the other person know how you truly feel, or are you holding things back? Are you refusing to say something because it may hurt their feelings? Or you don't think that they can take that? Or whatever they're doing is really, really frustrating you, but you refuse to say anything and you may be shut down. That's my go-to. I just shut down. Yep, I'm done. That's frustrating me. I don't even want to deal with it. Whatever. It'll blow over. I don't want to talk about it. That's what I do. That's like my coping mechanism. I just go over here in a corner and I'll be fine. We'll figure it out later. What is not integrity? Perfection. It's not about perfection. Living with integrity does not mean that you need to be perfect, that you may not break a commitment to somebody or a commitment to yourself. And integrity is not morality. It is not simply, I'm a good person, right? There's a lot more to life than just, well, I'm a good person. Okay, well, that's good. That's a nice start, but that doesn't encapsulate all of what integrity is about. There's a quote in the book that says, integrity is when the inside matches the outside. So think about that for a minute. What is going on inside your head, inside your heart, that may not align with how you act on the exterior? Think about maybe a difficult situation with someone on your team and what you were thinking and feeling versus what you actually said. And we talk about this a lot. It's a lot about how you approach the situation. The book talks about 3 pillars of practicing integrity. The first is what they call impeccable agreements. Make clear agreements you fully intend to keep. Well, when you sign up as a leader, you take on the responsibility for everyone on your team's development. Everyone on your team is looking to you to help them develop, to help them grow, to help them do better than they did yesterday. Are there people on your team that you could really care less to grow and develop? Maybe. Well, why is that? If you took on the responsibility as a leader to grow and develop the people on your team, and you have found somebody that you have lost faith in, that you no longer are willing to support for whatever reason, and there's going to be instances where, hey, it's probably better that we part as friends. We get that. Maybe that person just doesn't align with what we're trying to do. But have we made every attempt to try to help them? Because if we took on a responsibility, yet our actions don't match that responsibility that we took on, even though we may be a good person, and 80% of our team likes us, are we living with integrity? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. The thing that I am most proud about, and I talk about it, I think I've talked about it in here, talk about it when we have our kind of regional manager syncs every Monday, is the amount of stories that I've heard just this year about someone who we weren't sure is going to make it. They weren't performing. They had a bad attitude. They couldn't show up on time, whatever it may be. The amount of stories that I've heard where that was the case, and our leaders, the people in this room on this call, committed and said, we're going to work with them. I'll go out with them once a week if I have to. I'm going to figure this out. The amount of times that that person is now one of the top performers is the thing that brings me the most joy. Because that means that we are actually leading. We are actually leading with the integrity that we signed up to grow and develop these people. And by God, Billy may be in a rut, but we're going to get him out of there. We're going to make sure that we do everything possible. And will there be times where it just doesn't work? Yeah, we've had those stories too. But the interesting piece of it is, even when we've had to part ways with somebody, we have worked our ass off trying to figure out a way to break through to them. You're not going to win every time. And when you don't win, what did we just say integrity is not? Perfection. You're never going to get everybody. It's the willingness to go after it, to chase down somebody's potential. You as the leader have made that agreement. So when you think about those people on your team that are frustrating you, that aren't getting it done, how can we use what we've talked about over the last 5 or 6 weeks to break through to them? Because you made an agreement and you've got to at least try. The next piece, or the next pillar, as the book calls it, is that integrity, when you're practicing it, it brings you emotional and energetic alignment because you're not withholding anything. To me, this one is a big one with the integrity and the promises that we make to ourselves. I know when I am doing the things that I need to be doing, I have more energy, I'm more engaged, and I'm ready to lead like I committed to leading. It's when I wake up, hit the snooze, don't do what I'm supposed to, I immediately become a less effective dad, a less effective leader. And it's very hard to connect, right? Why does me waking up and reading for 20 minutes make me a better dad? Well, because that's what I committed to do. That was my commitment. And leadership and mindset, they always won't make sense as to why me doing these little things make me better for the people that I serve, for my kids, for my wife, all of those things. Think back, like when you got like a really good routine going, think about what that resulted in versus when you didn't and all of the things that transpired. My guess is it was really hard to take responsibility. That's me. If I'm in a bad mood, whose fault is it? The kids. Someone at work doing something silly. Everybody but me. But when I sit down and try to find out why am I in a bad mood, it's usually because I have broken a commitment that I made to myself. And you know what? It's going to happen. The important part is being able to realize, being able to take a step back, remove the emotion, remove the feelings, and understand as a leader, if acting with integrity is taking 100% responsibility, what was my role in this? What did I contribute to this? And it's not about blame. It's about taking responsibility. It's not about taking responsibility for that other person's actions. It's about taking responsibility for what could I have maybe done a little bit different that would have resulted in a different result. And guess what? Sometimes doing something a little bit different will result in the same result. And that's okay. It's never going to be perfect. If it was all perfect, I could do this all by myself. Wouldn't need this whole room of people. Because I'd just kick my feet back and everybody would just do what they're supposed to do. And it'd be wonderful. Right? That's not going to happen. That's not realistic. But how do we each take responsibility for the situations that we get in? Think about a disagreement with your spouse. I have learned over the last almost 9 years that oftentimes a disagreement is best solved later. You're going to address it in the moment, but then it's important to at some point think about what could I have done differently, or what was my contribution to the disagreement. And in doing that, what it has done for me and probably my relationship is strengthened it, because it's okay to say, hey, I probably could have handled that differently. That was my bad. My feelings and my emotions were high, and I probably shouldn't even addressed it then. We probably should have just been in a different setting when we did that. Oh, okay. Well, we can work through that. Yeah, okay. Was it really that big? No, it was kind of stupid, actually. Okay, cool. Let's work through it. But we have those same things with the people that we lead here at work, right? Emotions are high. Can you believe he just did that? You got to be kidding me. Well, why did they just do that? Could you have helped prevent it? Maybe, maybe not. But it's important to think back. It's important to understand what is my role in this. Because when we seek to understand what our role is in every relationship that we're in, you are acting with integrity. And the cost of not reflecting, of not wanting to take responsibility is, what do you think? Erodes trust. You become drained. Think about the days that you go home and you're drained. Why is that? Probably a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of stuff that feels like you have no control over. When I feel the most drained, it is because there are things happening around me that I cannot control. Or at least I perceive that I cannot control. Because it's amazing, when I wake up in the morning, I feel just fine. My God, I was really tired like 8 hours ago. Now I'm not. And I feel fine. I'm ready to go. The other is blame and confusion. We've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. I feel like it intertwines in just about every one of these commitments. Is how do we get away from blame and overall confusion? Can you believe they just did that? Can you believe that happened? What are they thinking? Where are you, whether it be in your personal life, work life, where are you tolerating being out of integrity in the situations that you encounter? Again, this is the first step. Where are those situations? Where are those relationships that you feel a certain way, you maybe act a certain way, and as Andrew talked about last week, you've never even had a damn conversation with them. We talked a lot about drama last week. I wanted to raise my hand and say, hey, you know what I found? The best drama stopper when someone's telling it to you is just ask them if they talk to that person. Because almost 10 times out of 10 times, they haven't. Okay, well, we're not going to solve anything here. The minute that we jump into drama and gossip and all of this stuff, integrity, I'm fairly certain, goes out the window. Because we are feeling and saying and acting in a certain way that does not align with how we truly feel. When we practice integrity, as I talked about earlier, we get clarity. Things become a lot simpler. Why is drama so interesting? Because it's complicated, right? My wife watches all those goofy, well, I shouldn't say goofy shows. I know we got some watchers in here. I won't even say it. But my word, those things are so stupid. Well, yeah. Grant, I see you, buddy. No shame. All right. You do you. But we also have, sorry. We also have more energy. Trust is deepened. We talked about 2 weeks ago, unarguable statements. I feel this way. I'm observing, not, hey, why are you doing this? We don't know. But we talk from how we're feeling, what it's causing us. Because then, when we tell people how we actually truly feel, trust is built. Things become easier. Think about the people that you work easiest with here in this building. Who are the people that it's like, you know what? It is a freaking joy to work with you. That's great. We're like always on the same page. Why is that? My guess is because you have a very high level of trust with that person. You know how each other feel. You communicate well. You're not afraid to tell that person what's on your mind. Because it's not as difficult when there's a high level of trust. Think about the relationship you have with your best friend and then someone that you maybe struggle to communicate with here at the workplace. What's the difference? Well, you tell your best friend anything. Hey man, what are you wearing? You look like a goofball. Hey dude, why did you do that? That's so stupid. Why are you like, you're not afraid to give that, because guess what? You both trust each other. So how do we work? Not saying that everybody here is going to be your best friend. I get that, right? But how do we build trust? We do it by acting with integrity. We've got a couple minutes left. So to finish up, a few simple practices on how to build integrity. Make and keep fewer and clearer commitments. Has anyone ever started out to like the example is like, oh, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to go work out for 2 hours. You have 2 free hours. Were you retired? 2 free hours to work out. Like, who's got that much time? I mean, Pete, maybe. But other than that, I don't know many people, right? What they say to do is just go walk for 5 minutes and build the habit, right? As we build the habit, those commitments are easy to, and then 5 minutes becomes 10, becomes 20. And what you'll find is just consistency wins out. Working out, building relationships. Building relationships isn't, well, I spent a whole day with this person. We ought to just be like best buds. No, you're best friends with people that you've known for a long time. You've been friends every day for 10 years. That's why the trust is there, because of consistency. We talked about unarguable statements. Use I statements. Tell people how you feel. I am very confused about this. Can we talk about it? Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Not, oh, he's just trying to wreck this thing. He hates life. Like, come on. What do I always say? No one showed up here looking to do a bad job. No one showed up today on our team and was like, you know what? I'm going to sabotage the shit out of this day. Like, no one did that. So if someone frustrates you and you feel like, is he trying to sabotage the day? My guess is there's probably some confusion in the relationship. I'm going to guess. If you do find that he was really trying to sabotage the day, let's have a different conversation. But my guess is you're not going to find a whole lot of that. And if you do, always think, what can I do to build this back up? Where can I go? What conversation can I have to better understand why this is happening? Notice when you feel the need to justify. Anybody ever done this? Well, but what I was trying to do. Well, don't think about it that way. When we try to justify, we give up our ability to understand where the other person is, where we stand, why we're feeling the way we're feeling. We give up an opportunity to maybe understand that we were feeling something for the completely wrong reason, that the situation wasn't nearly as bad as we thought it was. It just so happened that we heard it through the grapevine and we're like, oh my God. Where are you at with your integrity? And where maybe are there opportunities where you could clean it up? The book talks a lot about these cleanups. Who is someone, what is a relationship that you could take responsibility for and clean up? And have an honest conversation with somebody. Speak candidly. Avoid drama. And just go have a conversation. Hey, do you got a few minutes? I just want to go over something and kind of how I'm feeling, and maybe I'm totally off base and I don't even know what I'm talking about, but this is like how I'm feeling, and I just want to better understand the situation or what we need to do to make this better. When you come at it from that, not like, hey, I'd really like to talk to you about being an idiot. You're really pissing me off and I don't like you. And yeah, I'm sure that conversation is just going to go swimmingly well. Where are the areas where you can clean up your integrity? Where are there places, again, personal, professional, wherever it is, where are there places where you feel or are acting a certain way, but that the inside does not match the outside? I'm sure everyone can think of situations where this is applicable. I could think of 3 or 4 right now. And guess what? This is not about attaining perfection. I am perfect on integrity in every relationship that I'm at right now. Gold star, look at me go. It's not going to be. And that's okay. It's about recognizing where the situations are that I need to go address. That's all. It's about awareness. The more that we are aware of our role in all of the things that are happening in our life, the more integrity we will build. Our natural instinct is to blame, justify, try to prove why we are right. If I've learned anything, you're not always right, and that's okay. Leadership is not about being right. It's about the awareness to keep improving. It's about the awareness to make relationships better. The focus on relationships, the focus on others and how do I serve, how do I help you grow? If there's a misunderstanding, where can I help us get back on track? Living with integrity. Think about those relationships that you have in your life where they need cleaned up. And think about, too, the ones that you're living with integrity. And model that in those other relationships.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to connect with me personally, you can find me at chadmpeterman.com. To see what our team's up to, you can visit petermanbros.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and consider joining the CSTG Arena. As always, keep growing out there.